Welcome to The Thriving Entrepreneur, where high performance and business strategy blend almost as perfectly as crepes and Nutella. Grab your headphones and your favorite flavored latte and tune in weekly as we talk about business, personal development, marketing, mindset, and everything in between. And now, your host, high performance coach, business strategist, and chocolate addict, Yasemin Inal.
Welcome to another episode of The Thriving Entrepreneur. Thrivers, I am so excited to be joined with an amazing, amazing person that I had the opportunity to meet recently in Las Vegas. We were at an event together. We spoke at an event together, and his name is Hal Elrod. He died at age 20 after being hit head-on by a drunk driver at 70 miles per hour. He died for 6 minutes, broke 11 bones, and was told by doctors that he would never walk again. Not only did he walk, he ran a 52-mile ultra marathon, became a Hall of Fame business achiever, an international keynote speaker, and #1 best-selling author of The Miracle Morning, which is one of the highest rated books on Amazon with over 1,300 five-star reviews. I am so honored to welcome you, Hal. Thank you so much for your time, for being here.
It's mutual. Thank you for your time, and thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. You know, I've been your fan. I love your book. I have it right here. It's like a reference book, you know. So right there, guys, go get it.
Within arm's reach. I've got a copy here too.
Yeah, within arm's reach, literally. And I'm a high performance coach, so I make sure that my clients read this because morning routines are huge in high performance. So,
Sure.
And I think the way you laid it out, you know, we'll get to the book, so I don't want to kind of like spoil it, but yeah, I just love it. I want you to take us back all the way to, like, you know, your story is so powerful. So if you want to take us back to that, that's great. I just want to know, because, you know, this is the Thriving Entrepreneur Show. I just want to know, did you always know you were an entrepreneur? Like, were you like that kid who's had a lemonade stand, and was it always something in you, or is it something that started later on?
Yeah, I think that it's a combination of kind of nature and nurture, right? So, I mean, I did some of the lemonade stand and selling magazines and all that stuff as a kid. When it really started for me was I was 11 years old when my parents bought a grocery store. So I grew up in a small town in Northern California called Oakhurst, 30,000 people. They bought the Oakhurst Market.
Okay.
It was one of those grocery stores that was built in 1945 where the house was part of the store. Like you took 3 steps out of check stand number 1 and it was a door to our living room.
Oh, wow.
We slept above the store. So, but my parents bought the grocery store, so they were entrepreneurs. They became entrepreneurs at that point, and they put me to work, and they gave me an opportunity to go earn minimum wage, which was $4.25 an hour.
Oh, wow.
And I was a box boy at first, and after about a year, I graduated to checker, you know, to ring people up to the cash register. And around, so that's what got me to learn about the idea of making money for yourself. So granted, I wasn't an entrepreneur, but at a young age, my parents made me pay for everything on my own.
I love that. I do the same thing with my kids. So I love parents who do that.
If I wanted Payless shoes, my parents would buy them. If I wanted Nikes, which of course I did, I had to put the money that I earned toward them. If I want to go to the movie, everything. So that taught me that lesson at a young age. Well, when I was 15, long story short, I decided I wanted to start my first business. It was a DJ business doing weddings and school dances and all of these things. And my dad helped me out. We went to the store where I got the catalogs of all the equipment from, and he financed $1,500 of equipment. He got me speakers and a strobe light and a fog machine, the whole thing.
Wow.
But I had to work at the grocery store and make the payments.
Sure.
And within a few weeks, I got $100 wedding. So 4 hours, $100. At age 15, $25 an hour to play music was amazing. And within a matter of 6 months, I was earning $75 an hour, and then it went up to $100 an hour, and doing all sorts of gigs around town.
Yeah.
So the point is, the 2 lessons that I learned from this, number 1 is that you can get paid and make money doing something that you enjoy. right? Very different. It was like working at the grocery store. I had to do it. I enjoyed that I could make money, but I didn't love stocking shelves.
Yeah. You didn't wake up saying, oh yeah, I'm going to work at the grocery store.
No, but I woke up going, I'm DJing a car show this week and it's going to be so fun, right? I love playing music. And the second lesson it taught me that serves me to this day is that you can scale your income.
Yeah.
Right? That, and scale might be the wrong word, but the point is, instead of making $4.25 an hour doing something I didn't like, I was making $100 an hour. I was making 20 times the amount of money doing something I loved. And to this day, if I look back, everything that I do now is how can I scale my impact and my income and do it in a way that I'm enjoying what I do for a living.
Oh my goodness. I love that. I love that you're mentioning that, because I know so many people. I have some clients who are getting into the entrepreneurial journey and they are somehow boxing themselves, okay, they left their 9 to 5, but now they're like, well, I need to make money. So I got to do something, even if it's not going to be something that I love, that I'm passionate about, but it pays the bills, I'll do it.
Sure.
Like even within the entrepreneurship. And of course I honor that, because you do have to pay the bills. You have to keep the business going. But at the same time, you need to be investing some energy and effort into what you're really passionate about, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that I tell a lot of my clients, I go 80-20 rule, right?
Yeah.
4 days a week making money to pay the bills, and 1 day a week working on your dream, the thing that you would love to do, and find a way to get paid for it, right? But cover the bases, right? But make sure you're dedicating a chunk of your time, and even if you're working 5 days a week, and then Saturdays are spent working on the dream. But
I love that. And it's totally doable. It's totally doable, because that's exactly what I did. I was a professor before. I used to teach English at a university, and I was literally working 4 days a week. So I use Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, I sacrificed some weekends for sure for a couple of years, but I started this side hustle.
Sure.
And I was able to quit my job, even though I loved it.
Yeah.
But I had kind of outgrown the classroom and wanted to make the world my classroom.
So, sure. That's great.
Love it. Love hearing that. So take us back to a time when it was just, okay, so you've always been, 15 you started the entrepreneurial journey. Now tell us a little bit about the accident. I mean, did that also have, I'm sure it had some sort of an effect in terms of like your career choices. And can you take us back to that time?
Yeah. So when I was 19 years old, I gave up. I was actually a DJ on the radio. Like the DJ business went to I want to be on the radio. And so I started doing radio, and after my first year of college, and I got hired to sell Cutco cutlery, Cutco kitchen knives.
Yeah. I'm familiar with that. I have a bunch of friends who did that when I was in college. Yeah.
Awesome. So I became one of the top reps for Cutco. And a year and a half into the career, I was giving a speech at a conference, and driving home that night, I was hit head on by a drunk driver at 70 miles an hour, as you mentioned, and woke up from a coma 6 days later, found out I had broken bones, and I was in pain, and I had no short-term memory. I mean, I couldn't remember minute to minute.
Wow.
And obviously it's, you never imagine that happening to you. But it's like anything, we don't know what we're capable of until we're put in a position to have to be capable of something that we've never done before. And I just had to look at it. And I think this is true for all of us when we face adversity, small or big, is how are we going to respond?
Yeah.
And for me, I went, well, I can't change that I was in a car accident. I can't change that.
That's right.
So there's no value in wishing I could. There's no value in going, why did this, in a victim mentality. I thought the only intelligent choice I have here is to be as positive as I possibly can, as grateful as I can that I'm still alive, focus on where I want to go in my life based on my current circumstances, and take action to go there. Right. I mean, really, that simple. And I know it's easier said than done, but
sure.
But because I had that mindset, it allowed me to actually be at peace with it. I went, well, I can't change it. So, and here's what I told my dad. See, the doctors thought I was in denial because every time they saw me, I was happy. And I'm 20 and I'm being told, you're never going to walk. And I'm like, well, doc, that's your opinion. We'll figure it out. It's great. Life's, I'm alive. And they thought I was.
I love that attitude though. I mean, like, that's amazing.
Well, and they thought I was delusional. Thank you. But they thought I was delusional. And they called my parents in and they said, we think Hal's in denial. He's delusional. It's not normal. We feel like his reality is so painful to accept. He checked out. Like he's out of it.
Yeah.
And what they didn't realize, my dad came in and sat me down and said, Hal, how are you really feeling? The doctors think you're hiding your emotions and you're pretending everything's okay. And I said, Dad, I can't change that I was in a car accident, but I can be the happiest person you've ever seen in a wheelchair if I end up in a wheelchair. Because I'm in a wheelchair either way, So I can either be in a wheelchair, depressed, and life's not fair, and I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
Or I can be the most grateful human being you've ever seen rolling around in a wheelchair. And I said, I've already thought this through. And if I never walk again, I will be the happiest person you've ever seen in that wheelchair. I said, but Dad, I haven't accepted that as my fate yet. It's too new. It's too fresh. The doctors, they think they don't know. No one knows for sure.
Sure.
I said, so I've accepted the worst case scenario, but I'm visualizing the best case scenario. I'm praying about it. I'm thinking about it. I'm not dwelling on what happened to me. I'm dwelling on what I want for the future, while I simultaneously accept that it may not happen.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks later, 3 weeks after the crash, after my leg broke in half, my pelvis broke in 3 places. 3 weeks after that crash, after I was found dead, the doctors came in with routine x-rays. They said, we don't know how to explain this, but your body is healing like remarkably fast. We're going to let you take your first step tomorrow.
Wow.
And it was like, wait, I was optimistic, like maybe 6 months to a year. 3 weeks tomorrow, and I took my first step the next day. And, and I obviously, I don't have a graph to show you that my positive thinking healed my bones, but I just have my experience, which is like, I focused on what I wanted while I accepted what I didn't want. So there was no stress over the worst case scenario, but there was excitement over the best case scenario. And I think it's a universal lesson for all of us to accept the worst case scenario. And therefore we're at peace with it. There's no fear. While you focus on what you want and you work towards it. And when you stumble, when things don't go well, you practice what I call the 5-minute rule, which is it's okay to be negative, but for not more than 5 minutes. Set your timer, bitch, moan, complain, cry, whatever you got to do, punch a wall. 5 minutes is up. Deep breath. Focus. That's it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Hal, you just mentioned like so many things in there, like so many words of wisdom. And
that's because I talk fast.
Love it. It's great. So powerful. So I ask this question to all my guests. What does thriving mean to you?
To me, thriving is about fulfilling your potential. And not meaning that you're perfect at it, but meaning that you wake up every day and you focus on, you've got a vision for what you want and who you want to be. And then every day you live a little bit more into that vision, right? You might take a step backward, but you keep taking a step forward. And every day you move toward your full potential. And you do it, to me, thriving is doing it with the intention of helping other people fulfill their potential. Like when I was in the car accident, you mentioned about, career change. Before the car accident, I was going to be the greatest Cutco sales manager, and that was the career path. And when the accident happened, of course, I questioned, like, well, everything happens for a reason. What can I do with this? And I had always wanted to be a professional speaker at that point, but I never had a lot to talk about. I was kind of had a normal life. I didn't go through any adversity, and I thought, wow, I wouldn't have asked for this, but maybe I can take this experience and I can help other people. And there was this sense of responsibility sitting in my hospital bed that I have a responsibility to my family, to the world, to my children that I may have someday, to overcome this in the most positive, proactive way that I can, so that I can learn through experience how to help other people do the same. And that to me is thriving, is that you fulfill your potential while you simultaneously lift other people up to fulfill theirs.
I love it. And it sounds like the Zig Ziglar quote, right? Like if you're willing to help
enough other people get what they want, you can have everything that you want. And I found that to be true. And I didn't know it at the time, but now that looking back, I'm like, wow, the more people that read the Miracle Morning and that change their life with the Miracle Morning, right? I'm achieving everything that I ever wanted, but only through helping other people achieve what they want. Yeah, it's exactly.
And I mean, how awesome that you were able to kind of just really, a lot of people have accidents. A lot of people have adversity happen to them, but not everyone has this outlook, right? Saying, well, you know what? I've learned something amazing from this experience. I've grown, I've evolved. Let me help others with that. So I just love and honor you for that. So
well, thank you. And I'll tell you that I credit, there's really three people, I guess. My mom and dad are we'll call them, they're one person together. So my mom and dad, and then my mentor in Cutco, when I was selling Cutco. So my parents, my mentor first, he taught me that 5-minute rule. And I really did apply that to the
I love that.
I thought, well, I can't, that really was it. It's like, we learned it in sales training. Now, granted, it was for much milder adversity, right? Like, like a no sale or a canceled order. But it was the principle that once something happens, if you can't change it, which unless you're Marty McFly with a DeLorean, you can't go back in time and change it, right?
No.
You might change it moving forward, but you can't change what already happened. And so I applied that same flaw. I had applied it for a year and a half to my, career.
Mm-hmm.
I realized, wait, this applies to the greatest adversity I've ever faced. Like, I can't change it, but I can choose to be positive and happy in the midst of it. But then my parents, really, there was a deep lesson taught at a young age where when I was 8 years old, my sister died.
Okay.
And she was a year and a half. So still a baby.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I woke up one morning to my mother screaming. I ran across the hall and my baby was dead. My baby sister was dead in my mom's arms, and my dad was at work. My sister was gone.
Oh my
other
goodness.
sister. And within a matter of months, my parents started a fundraiser to raise money for the hospital that cared for my sister while she was alive. And my mother started a support group for other parents that had lost children. It was like 6 months after
Wow.
death. So I really saw that that we could take our own adversity and that we could kind of pay it forward. It could help other people by serving through that. So that really was, and I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back, that's where that seed was planted in my subconscious, that when you go through, tragedy, turn it into a triumph by helping other people through their own, adversity or tragedies.
I love that and this is a beautiful transition into the next question, which is like for entrepreneurs who are starting out, for people who have this entrepreneurial, desire. I don't like to call it a bug because it's not, if they've, obviously everyone has a story, right? Everyone has been through some sort of a challenge. I mean, it may not be as drastic as yours, but everyone has experienced some sort of a loss, some sort of pain.
Sure.
So what would your advice be in terms of like sharing our stories and being able to empower others with that? For those entrepreneurs who are starting, that kind of a business, not like selling maybe, not designing a website or something, but they're actually like, like keynote speakers and authors.
Yeah. So I think that for me, that was my big challenge when I wrote my first book 11 years ago, called Taking Life Head On. And it was my story. And I really, I don't know if struggle is the right word, but I really put a lot of thought into like, how do I best tell this in a way that's valuable? And so it was really extracting the lessons and focusing less on the story, like enough on the story to where people understand it and they are connected to you. But really extracting the lessons, like, okay, great, here's the story. But what does that mean? Like if I'm hearing your story, it's, well, what is that? How does that help me? So it's okay, here's the story. And then from that story, I extracted this framework, if you will, these lessons that allowed me to overcome the adversity, achieve X, Y, or Z result, et cetera, et cetera. So to me, that's really it. And, the Miracle Morning, which is my life's work now, that was the same thing. It was a much less horrific adversity. But it was actually more difficult. It was 2008, the U.S. economy crashed, and I crashed with it. I mean, I went from I had just hit Hall of Fame with Cutco. And so I had bought a house and life was great. I had launched my first coaching business and my speaking career and written that first book, and life was great. And then all of a sudden it felt like it happened really fast.
Wow.
The economy crashes. I lose half my clients. I lose my income. I lose my house, all of these things. And this thing I created called the Miracle Morning, which was never going to be a book. It was my own morning ritual, right? It changed my life. And again, it went back to this sense of responsibility. Like, if this changed my life this profoundly and this quickly, I'm not special. Like, I mean, if anybody else applied this framework to their own life or their own business, they would see extraordinary results. And so then I started teaching it and sharing it. And if you look at that Miracle Morning book, right, the first few chapters, it tells my story, but then it really teaches people, how do you wake up early if you're not a morning person? And then once you wake up, what do you do to accelerate your success? And it's like really the taking what you've experienced and really extracting the lessons that are valuable and that are actionable for the people that you're serving.
So what is your morning routine like? I mean, of course, we can find it out in the book, but, for someone who may not have read the book and without spoiling it for them completely, right? Because we want the listeners to go out and grab it.
Yeah. But I like to give away as much as I can. Yeah. And then, if you want more, you can read the book. But
absolutely.
So there's really two parts to the Miracle Morning. Like, what the Miracle Morning is it's the why and how you wake up. That's like the first part, why and how you wake up. And then it's the what do you do during the time you're waking up a little earlier. It doesn't mean it's super early. I don't believe it has to be like the 5 a.m. club. It could be the 7 a.m. club. It's just waking up before you normally would.
Sure.
So if you think about why we wake up in the morning, most people, and this used to describe me and maybe you too, but we wake up because we have to. Meaning, you look at think about how we set our alarm. We look at a schedule and we're like, okay, when do I have to be somewhere, do something, or answer to somebody else, right? Or take care of somebody else as a parent.
Yeah.
Okay, that's at blank a.m. And then you go, so how long does it take me to get ready? And then you go, okay, well, let's back that up from blank a.m. And then you go, usually it's, well, I want to snooze like 3 times. So let's add a little snooze time in, right? So I call that a mediocre morning. Like you're literally going, when's the last possible moment that I could get away with getting out of bed, not get fired, divorced, have children taken away from me, right? So that's a mediocre morning. And then the essence of the miracle morning. True. Yeah. I mean, it's a really negative energy to start your day with, like, oh,
and then starting and then running around like a chicken without a head, right? Like
exactly. Yeah. And I mean, you're right. The energy of that is like you're resisting life itself. Like life's amazing when the alarm goes. You're like, when the alarm goes off, you should be like, oh my God, I lived another night, another day. I can do anything I want with my life. Let's do it, right? But we're like, no, I'd rather lay here unconscious for just like 10 more minutes, right? And I was guilty of that for my whole life. And then I had this realization. I realized the world's most successful people swear by their morning ritual, period.
Yeah.
I thought I got to wake up a little bit earlier. And so I set the alarm clock back, an hour from what I normally would wake up. So I woke up when I had to around 6 a.m. I thought, what if I woke up an hour earlier at 5? And at first I was like, who wakes up at 5? That's crazy. And then I thought, yeah, right. Yeah. Me too. So, I thought I've got to, here was the quote that got me to wake up at 5. Cause at that time, 2008, I was a mess. Yeah. Like my body fat percentage had tripled in the 6 month. It was a 6-month downward spiral.
Wow.
My house was foreclosed on, taken away by the bank. I lost my clients. I was living on credit card. That was $52,000 in personal.
Oh my God.
Debt.
Wow.
Which was more than half of my annual income at that point. So I was a mess. And I woke up an hour earlier. And then the question was, okay, sorry, I forgot to say. The quote was, if you want your life to be different, you have to be willing to do something different first. Yeah. When I was looking at my schedule, because
otherwise it's insanity, right? Like Albert Einstein said, doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
And that's what I was doing. Same thing every day. And like, why doesn't life get better?
Yeah,
that's what most of us do. And so that was the first thing is, okay, I'm going to get up an hour earlier. And then it was, well, what am I going to do? And I spent like an hour on Google searching, what are the world's most successful people do for personal development? Like, what are their daily rituals? And I was looking for the one practice that would make all the difference. And I had a list of 6. And I went, like, as I'm jotting them down, I'm reading articles on Forbes and Entrepreneur and, Oprah and Huffington Post. And I'm looking for the one thing that'll change it all. And I had this list of 6, and none of them were more compelling than another. And by the way, I'll tell you what they are. None of them are new. They're timeless. But but the world's most successful people have practiced these for centuries, right? But Robert Kiyosaki said it best. So Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I'm a huge fan, reaches out to me and says, Hal, I've read your book 3 times, The Miracle Morning 3 times.
Wow.
Which, right there, I had to read that sentence.
That's like the best testimonial ever.
I know. I'm like, you read it 3 times? And he says, it's changing my life. I do it with my wife every day now. I want to have you on Rich Dad Radio. And I was like,
wow.
And when I was on his show, he said, Hal, he put it better than that's why I always quote him here. He said, Hal, before the Miracle Morning, every successful person on the planet was doing at least one of those 6 practices. He said, but I had never heard of anyone that did all 6, let alone all 6 every morning. He said, and now I do them every day. So there's an acronym for these 6. It's the SAVERS. So S for silence. So starting out with meditation and or prayer, getting centered, calming your mind, lowering your cortisol levels, right? I mean, the scientific studies on meditation is like 1,400.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Proven. The A is for affirmation. So written affirmations, not the way they've been taught by gurus like, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, No. I teach you in the book how to create affirmations that are actionable and results-oriented, not based on fantasy or making you feel good. The V is for visualization, so the V in savers. The E is for exercise. And I'm not saying you got to not go to the gym in the afternoon or the evening or whatever. I'm saying you got to get your heart rate up in the morning, get blood and oxygen to your brain. You'll think clear. You'll feel better. The R is for reading. And not 50 Shades of Grey or Harry Potter, but reading for success, reading personal growth books. Yeah. And then the final S is for scribing, which is a fancy word for writing. Yeah. And I use 5-minute journal. That's my scribing practice every day. And it's like Robert Kiyosaki said, again, every successful person does at least one of those, but doing all 6 of them, that's why the Miracle Morning, I think, is, there's now hundreds of thousands of people around the world that have read the book and that do the practice every day. Now,
I love it. I love it.
Real quick, I'll close this out with you. Ask my morning ritual. The savers represent 1 hour, but I'm a little bit nutty. I get up at 3:30 a.m. every day. Just because I found the Miracle Morning is so valuable, I just kept going earlier and earlier.
Now, what time do you sleep, though? Are you getting enough sleep? That's the high performance coach.
In the afternoon. No, I'm just kidding. No, I go to bed.
We'll be closing very soon.
9:30 p.m. So I get 6 hours of sleep, and I talk in the book. In fact, the most recent review, somebody wrote the 1,831st review on Miracle Morning today on Amazon, because I check it and refresh it like at least once a day. But they said, I'm paraphrasing, but they said in the book, he talks about sleeping less and then having more energy. And they go, totally counterintuitive, but I started sleeping 1 hour less than I was, and I now have more energy. I can't believe it's actually working. And, so yes, I talk about that in the book, but so that's so for me, I wake up early. I do the savers for the first hour, make some tea, yada, 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 all that. And then I actually dive into extra reading and writing and working on my books and all of that stuff. So
I love that. And I mean, I'm sure you're just, I can't even, I wake up at 5, and I really love waking up at 5 because I get so much done before the kids are awake.
It. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I mean, like you said, so for me, when I discovered your book, I was like, oh my goodness, this actually, because I do love to do all those 6 things, and I've been doing them for about, religiously, I would say for about 4 years, Awesome. So when I discovered this book I would say maybe 6-7 months ago, I was like, oh my goodness, where was I? Because you wrote the book exactly when?
12/12/12 was the published date.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, where was I? Because it just came in so handy. Instead of telling my clients what I do every single day, give them my schedule, I was like, here, read this book, because I do most of that stuff in there. So love it. What a pleasure. What an honor having you on this show, Hal. I mean, it's just amazing to be able to connect with you like this. And I really, really am very honored, and would love to see if you have anything that you would like to, where's the best place that our listeners or viewers can find you? Sure. If you have any special gifts for them, that would be awesome.
Yeah, if you want to get the first couple chapters of the Miracle Morning book for free and kind of test drive it before you buy it on Amazon, you can go to miraclemorning.com, and you'll get emailed the chapters of the book. And then beyond that, the Miracle Morning community has become the most engaged Facebook group I've ever seen. 56,000 people from 70 countries. And it's almost like you'd think that's quantity over quality, but it really is quality and quantity. I mean, the engagement is incredible, and the culture is so supportive. So I always tell people, whether you buy the book or not, join the Miracle Morning community on Facebook, and it's just a great place to plug in and find a group of like-minded people that are all supporting each other in fulfilling our potential. So
I love that. I'll be joining it if I'm not already a member. Yeah. Well, thank you so much again.
Yasemin, thank you. I really appreciate you having me on. And everybody that watched or listened to this, thank you so much for your time.
Thrivers, thank you so much for joining us. And until the next time, live on purpose, focus on what truly matters, and keep thriving.
Thank you for tuning in. Join our Facebook group by typing The Thriving Entrepreneur in the search box, and connect with Yasemin at yasmininal.com. That's YASEMININAL.com. Till next time, keep thriving.